Okay, so you guys are, the Mads are back. Bring us way back to the beginning. How did this whole thing, how does this all start? And I'm not going to make you go through everything, but there's only like 10 questions or less, and they're not, so it's not going to be all the history, the entire history, but just tell me about the beginning, how it all came together, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh boy, knew Joel in the writing room. Josh and I were there. He said, come on over to your TV station at that time, and we're going to do this show. And that was about it. He said, go pick up those puppets. We started doing the show. It was that simple. A little more complicated, but that's the peanut.
Frank, how did you get involved?
I was living here in Minneapolis as a comedian, and one day I was on the road in Grand Forks, North Dakota, not to brag, at the Westward Ho, the beloved Westward Ho that all of us comedians love performing at in Grand Forks. And Mike Nelson, in my hotel room, I got a phone call. Mike Nelson said, hey, the Comedy Channel has picked up the show for another year, and there's an opening, and we'd like you to come on board. And that's how it happened. And it was a wonderful, fortuitous thing that I've always been amazed that happened to me.
How'd you do at the Westward Ho?
I did okay. You know, it was a rough room.
Yeah. Did you get paid?
I got paid. Awesome. Yeah. But I was famous as one of our more competent middle acts in comedy. So at that level, I did fine.
Great. And one of the things that we'll see here in a few minutes when everybody starts showing up is that after over 30 years, the fans are there, and the fans love what you guys do. What is it about the fans that love what you guys do?
I don't know. We just connect on, some just normalcy. We're all kind of into the same stuff, and I think the show really allowed us to show people what we were interested in, and they went, hey, you guys know R. Crumb too? Or you guys know Zappa, or some obscure thing? And it became a very close family. And we see people that we've seen at other shows, so we have very loyal friends.
Yeah. We owe everything to our fans. They're the ones who are giving us, enabling us to make a living doing this, and it's all about them. And so we love meeting them before the show and after the show. They come up to our merch table. We'd love it if they bought our merch, but even when they don't, we just love meeting them and talking to them.
And a lot of people have actually created their own costumes.
Yeah, we see a lot of
What are some of the crazy things that you guys see?
We see Frank and Forrester costumes all the time. Mr. Be Natural is a popular.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, the Master. The Master has to be the
from
one.
Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Yeah.
Torgo from Manos, the Hands of Fate. He's a popular cosplay. And then a lot of people bring robots that either they buy online or they make themselves.
Yeah. The ones they make themselves are the coolest, because they're all a little off-model, and they're really have a lot of personality.
And what is it for people that have grown up on Mystery Science Theater 3000? What would you say it is? What would you tell them you do now?
The exact same thing.
But it's a little different because it's obviously live, and you guys are
Yes.
You guys are there.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you're doing now.
There's no premise behind it except for the fact that we're there to riff movies.
It's the movie and the jokes and us and the audience, and I don't think
that's the whole equation.
We can't take one more thing away out of that. I think we're as simple as we can get.
Do you have a preference as far as doing the TV show and now doing it live? Is there one that you like better?
Oh, doing the live show, definitely. Getting immediate feedback on whether it's working or not is so much fun. Sometimes it's more fun when it doesn't work.
I was going to say I miss the money of the TV show, but we actually make more money from the live show, so it's better all around.
Well, when you guys start from nothing, I'm sure the money isn't going to be there right away. So.
Right. Well, $25 a week is what I was making at KTMA. So,
Do you think if that
wasn't today's dollars?
Do you think if the money situation wasn't the way it was when it started, you guys would have done it longer?
Well, it went pretty long, regardless. It went for 10 years, and now it's back again, and it's never gone away. People have continued to enjoy it. When we started Cinematic Titanic, before then, we didn't realize that people were still into the show, and that, in fact, all those years after the show ended, it was more popular than ever, and that's... It's like I said, it's the fans are really why we're still doing this.
And so after the original cast of Mystery Science Theater, everybody kind of went their own way, and some people during the show left. But either way, when the show ended, everybody kind of went their own way. But it seems like groups have kind of broken off.
Yes.
What is it
definitely.
about you two that drew each other to each other?
Well, like Frank had said, we'd done Cinematic Titanic for like 6 years, and it ended, and we really wanted to continue. And it was Frank who had a gig, and he called me up, it's like 4 years ago, and said, do you want to do this? Let's riff. They want us to riff a movie. And we got one gig, then we got another gig a couple of weeks later, and we did, I think this is our 170th or 71st show tonight, which we should have a cake.
We have cake anyway, so.
Yeah, that's right.
So you guys obviously don't annoy each other too much because you're spending a lot of time together.
Maybe I think I annoy Trace sometimes, but it's not to a
Only
bad
when you
degree.
don't order what I'm ordering at a restaurant. Salad again, Frank? Really?
Now you're making stuff up.
Fake news.
So tell us about the podcast.
Oh, the podcast is called Movie Sign with the Mads, and we do it with our friend Carolina Hidalgo. And it's very simple. Just every week we pick a movie, whether it's a new movie or a classic movie, and we just discuss it for an hour. And then we have digressions, and we go off on tangents.
Yes.
But it's a chance for big movie buffs, which the three of us are, to talk about the thing we love, which is movies. And some people are surprised that we can actually be positive about movies. Since they're used to us being negative in our riffing, and that's why we love doing the show, because it's a chance to mostly, we talk about some films that we don't like, but mostly we talk about movies that we love.
Although there are a lot of classics that you don't love. Ghostbusters, The Big Lebowski. What are some other ones I've heard recently?
Big Lebowski I like, but I think because I didn't,
not love.
I didn't, wasn't completely effusive about it. And also Ghostbusters, I said in the podcast that I wasn't that big a fan of it, and then I said nothing but nice things about it. So, I'm conflicted.
You hate it.
Yeah.
All right, so a new season of Mystery Science Theater is coming out on Thanksgiving. Again, what is it about the show that has given it such long legs, and what do you guys think about it coming back?
Well, I think that the big appeal is just the format of movie riffing that Joel and Trace and J. Elvis Weinstein invented back then. They kind of created a new form of comedy, like stand-up or like improv or sketch comedy. It was kind of a newish way to be funny, and I think that caught on, and I think people love watching the bad movies, and they love hearing the jokes about them, and everybody has said a million times, oh, you're doing exactly what I've always done, is make jokes about bad movies. So it kind of had that innate appeal to it. People related to it and understood what it was, and it's still a thriving form of comedy to this day.
Hopefully until the end of this evening at least.
Yes.
And speaking of that, what's the future for the show, do you think, and riffing in general, and your guys' career? Do you guys have other twists and turns little tweaks that you want to make to riffing, or where do you see the future of riffing going?
We want to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah,
we want to keep performing in front of live audiences.
As long as they're coming out to see us, we'll be here. This is the most fun I've had in any riffing environment, is doing this show with Frank live in front of an audience. So I keep doing it until one of us is dead.
Yeah, and then, when I die, you can get one of the other people to come in. So it's not a big deal.
After that, it's double the money.
Yeah. If you can't be replaced, you can't be promoted.
I think riffing, though, movie riffing, I don't think is a thing that works if you do it, at least professionally, if you do it by yourself. I think at home, it's just more fun with other people, and I think when you're doing it for an audience, having more than one person there to kind of interact is a very important element of it.
And I think it's something also for the Twin Cities to hang their hat on, because we're in the Midwest, so we kind of had the inferiority complex. There we go. and you guys have started something that we can say is our own. What's it like to come back to the Twin Cities, and what's it like to have started something like that?
I'm surprised that more stuff hasn't come from here because there's a huge creative community that's dying to make, product, whatever it is, films, and there's a huge independent world here that isn't getting tapped, and I'd really like to see, another show come from here.
Yeah, absolutely. And people in this day and age, it was very unusual that we made a show in Minneapolis that was broadcast nationally, but I think in this day and age, people can, if you're a comedian and a writer and a filmmaker or whatever, you don't necessarily have to move to LA. You can do things here, get them out there, and then see if people like them or not.
And hire us so
Yes.
we can work on it with you.
Exactly.
All right. Great, guys.